Well, nothing new from me. I'm just gonna be saying whatever I want. It's about 6:12 or 6:15 right now. I wasted yesterday and I wasted most of the day, but I have a bunch of lab paperwork I should probably do and send some, labs to get ready for and, some more companies to apply to, but I don't want to do any of that right now. I don't know, just I don't know, man. The desire to get out there and live is the desire to get out there and live is still very strong, but I can't. I don't have the cash, I don't have the car, and above all, I don't have the people anymore. I mean, sometimes I just cannot understand how I was so happy, Well, happy as a relative term, but I was so we'll just say happy. How I was so happy when I was younger, just you know, going on my Chromebook and meeting Fred and the boys in the summer and like my world was so limited, I'd hardly been anywhere and I didn't know anything and well, it cost me. It's still costing me, but it doesn't really matter much, does it? Either way, I'd still end up kind of like this now. Just, the other version of me would have a set career path and I'd have more money in my pocket and probably less debt, but that would be about it. I still wouldn't be able to spend the money, and I still wouldn't be able to go anywhere, and I'd probably be driven even more insane from just working all day. But that's not that version of me is just hypothetical. What I get is me now. But I'm just tired of this shit, Day in, day out, same thing. Get up, go to school, come home, homework. Eventually get up, go to work, come home, fuck around, and wait for the next day. I mean, that's what Fred does right now for his co-op and shit. Like that's probably one of the main reasons him and I don't have anything to say anymore. Like not really. We always just go back to old memories because we do the same thing every day. When we were kids, we were dumber, so we just thought everything was cool, and obviously we were around a lot more people, I guess, and everybody was more interested in goofing off. So there were more stories to tell. But you know, all the people we knew have moved off or found their own little social groups and decided to specialize in interests, right? Like I know there's one guy, we'll call him Caleb, right? Like he pretty much focuses extensively on skiing and snowboarding now. Like he has a little club with his friends, and you know if you're not in the club, you ain't talking to him basically, right? Like after people reach 18, 19, 20, whatever, everybody just gets, like I said, they get in their own little tribe. They don't really expand much, except for like-minded people, and yeah, that's it. That's pretty much how it works, right? Like my suburb, for instance. How many of the people here know each other? Nobody knows each other because you don't have to talk to anybody here, not really, unless you want to make connections for work or maybe just small talk. But I don't think that happens. And I'm not saying like, oh, we should all know the community. I'm just saying it's kind of hard, especially if you're not like a big university or college or whatever. But even then, I didn't really make any friends. And again, same thing there, especially. It's pretty heavy on like partying and all that. And a lot of those people, they're the same socioeconomic status of upper middle class, and they're all attractive and or at least attractive enough. So you're not getting in there. You're not even getting a foot in. I just don't want to do all this school work crap anymore. It's like I don't really see the point. Like, what am I going to get out of it? Or should I say, what are we going to get out of it? Bunch of debt, high taxes, a shitty prison cell, essentially a glorified prison cell for a house. If we even get a house, I don't think any of us will get a house unless we rent with like 10 other people. Right, and for me, I'll just do the same thing all the time. Right, even somebody like Neil, what does he do? The same shit every day. The only thing keeping him afloat, I think, is one, he's athletic. He runs every day, so that kind of helps clear his mind. And Two, he has a long-term goal of buying a fixer-upper and 10 acres of land. And he also, I think the real thing is most of the people around me genuinely believe if that they continue on their current trajectory, their current path, if they continue to apply as much effort as possible as they need, if they continue to, you know, be able to use connections to help them or, leverage their skills to make money, they will be able to live the good life. They believe. I think that's the main thing. They believe. I don't. I don't believe anymore. And I know my limits well enough to understand that my beliefs are probably not too unreasonable. I'm not them, right? I'm not established in the Sparky industry. I don't know anybody. I've never been great with, talking to people because, that's just how it works. And I don't like people. Oh, yeah, and I also don't really have any particularly marketable or lucrative skills. That's all the world understands, in my opinion. Money, and can you smooth talk people? That's it. Can you make me money, and can you smooth talk me? Those are the two options, you don't get any more. Of course, in my industry, people are assholes as the bosses, but I mean, I guess they're kind of just assholes everywhere, right? All that really matters is cold hard cash. Make me a lot of it, make me it fast. Don't ask questions. Just pay your taxes, right? Right? You can't do anything about the larger issues, right? Just accept it. And it's like, why are you all just lying down and dying? We're just like we are declining. Have you ever even heard of any major inventions that have actually become widespread for the population? In the recent years, right? Look at all the media, the games, right? All the new stuff about like Apple iPhones or whatever. It's just the same shit in a new wrapper. Everybody's getting excited over Tesla's like, oh, look at this Tesla, look at Elon Musk. He's been doing this since forever, okay? And there's like a million brands of electric cars on the market. Just because Tesla's made by Musk doesn't mean it's like, I don't know, like the the greatest gift from God. It's like everybody suddenly lost their brain for a second. Like, okay, it's cool. It's cool. It's an electric car, Cybertruck, whatever. Like, it's not really that special. Have you noticed? And we still don't have that many electric cars. A lot of people drive gas cars. I'm just saying, like, I don't. Okay, you know what? Let's be fair. Let's play devil's advocate. What else do they have to get excited for? Which kind of goes back to my whole like thing of my thesis of we're just slowly decaying on a grand scale. And people like us, the losers, we're rotting every fucking day. Every day. We can work and work and work, and we'll only get half the reward that normal people have because we are inferior. That's just the reality of it. We're inferior. When you're inferior, you're just not going to be able to do as much as superior people. I don't mean like, oh, like Nazism and stuff. Like, I don't mean like that. YouTube, don't censor me. Just mean like, we're intellectually a little dumber, right? In terms of navigating social dynamics, we kind of suck, and I guess our features are not particularly appealing, especially our faces. Just it really just boils down to we are not able to fit in for psychological, emotional, mental slash neurological reasons. And that's really society. It's just about fitting in, right? It's the age old thing of one big tribe, right? And it's we're kind of forced to maintain all this, this massive tribe. We keep it together through nationalism and politics, which is just a load of bullshit, it's just for social cohesion, kind of like religion, right? Except we don't really have much religion anymore, except for the worship of state and money. And state and money are terrible gods. I'm not saying like the gods of actual religions are that great. I'm not trying to diss on religious people. I don't really care about that stuff right now, but like money and government are not great gods. They're not reliable at all. And they don't care about you. Not one bit. Like I said, I'm just talking shit. I don't know. I just wish there was a new frontier to explore, and Fred has expressed similar sentiments. I remember the last time I saw him, he just, he's told me he wanted to drop everything and move away in the woods and just live off the land and forget about all of this. And I think that's kind of a desire that a lot of men have because historically that's what we did. We went out and explored and built colonies and fought off the saber tooths and hunted meat for the family or whatever. Now we sit in boxes surrounded by a few hundred square feet of grass. Everything's paved, everything's safe, everything's clean, right? There's no real risk anymore. And obviously there were dangers in the olden days of, fucking, I don't know, getting infected from a minor cut or eating the wrong berry and being poisoned or having a heart attack and there's no medicine to help you, so you just died, obviously. I'm just saying, everything's just too sterile. There doesn't really seem to be an environment of old where you actually had like enough chaos to kind of just, branch out. Just like I've said before a thousand times, just too many rules, too much overbearing, just clerks behind desks saying you can't do this and you can't do that, and everybody else just gets indoctrinated into it. Like, oh, you gotta be nice and whatever. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm starting on my to-do list right now. I've got like 3 labs to do. It's like, go away. I don't want to do this lab. This is just. I want to feel like I'm doing something where the progress is more immediate. Because let's be honest, in terms of long term progress, I firmly do believe this, well, almost firmly, we aren't getting shit. The long term rewards are nothing. Okay, just like I said before, stagnant wages, higher prices, and a bunch of old people, which will raise our taxes even more. And probably automation is going to cost a lot of jobs or, cut a lot of parts out of, traditionally important jobs like programmers or engineers. Like, maybe not necessarily. I'm not trying to like fucking hype it up like Skynet, but you know what I mean. We will be more and more phased out, and you know, the same amount of labor that our folks' generation put in will not get us the same amount of reward. I think we all know this. I don't know why I keep repeating it, but I just feel like I have to drill it in because like people know it, but nobody really cares. It's like, yeah, just go to work. There's no way out really for any of us unless everything goes to hell, and that's probably not going to happen for like a century. So there's no way out. We just sit here and rot. And this is also really stupid. The fucking day goes by so fast as well. It's like it's already 6:30. It's like I've done nothing. I've just sat here and done a little homework, watched some videos, gone outside, and suddenly it's 6:30. What the fuck? What the fuck, bro? Slow down. I can't. I fucking hate that. The clock's always like, you wasted 3 hours. You did nothing. You need to get back to work and stop being so unproductive. Can you please stop reminding me of how much time is burning away? And I also hate this regimented schedule shit. Obviously, medieval peasants had a shitty life. Their life sucked. They didn't have the modern amenities we have, but as far as I'm aware, they didn't operate on a 9 to 5 schedule, right? They worked when they had to. Otherwise, they enjoyed themselves, right? Especially in winter. I've said this before. You couldn't fucking farm in winter, right? You spent the fall storing things up for the winter. So the winter, you just, do small tasks like, I don't know, feeding the animals, cooking food, right? And, otherwise you carve a figurine out of like wood or some crap. Just, we're expected to be on the grind 24/7, feeding to the system, supporting corporates, supporting, the pen pushers, the suits. Like, because that's really what we're doing at the end of the day. We're keeping the state alive, and the state is technically devouring us because it doesn't produce anything. It just takes and then gives it to people who are supposed to produce, although it kind of has the tendency to mess around and create problems because to be fair to them, if they didn't create problems, they wouldn't be very relevant. And I'm not trying to like be some like southern conservative redneck like oh we gotta dismantle the feds and we gotta take down the IRS. Just that shit won't happen, okay? There's too many people. We need some rules to keep all the bozos in line and all the losers like me in line too, and just make sure we don't fall to pieces because infighting and humans being dumb monkeys. But just why are there so many rules? Why is everything so expensive? Why can't I do anything? Like even successful people like Fred and Neil, right? They're successful. Okay, you want to call me a loser, a failure? Fine. Neil and Fred, I know them. they're successful. They can't do shit either because they gotta go to work all the time, or else they can't pay for anything. And they also have to pay rent right now to their folks because I don't know. I guess that's what's expected of you when you're white and you're in your 20s or so. It's like, hey, pay rent. You're not living under my roof for free anymore. And no, I don't pay it, but it's more so out of pity and the understanding that I suck so much I can't even afford to pay any rent. I know, my life is horrible. Well, not horrible, but I'm pretty pathetic, and I know that. Honestly, like I've said before, the best time if you live in the West to get yourself on a decent life path is between 14 to 18, right? Get a part-time job. People will be nicer to you because you're young and, build up experience so employers won't spit on you. And even then, they probably will because they're picky. Because there's so many people they can just choose and throw away. I figured things out too late. I'm old now. Not that old, but people aren't very merciful to you when you're in your 20s. Like, why haven't you figured it out yet? You're supposed to be like everybody else. For all their talk of diversity and equity and inclusion and justice and whatever the hell they talking points they spout, they're not really any of those things. They expect you to keep up. It's just one long, big grinding machine, one massive assembly line, and if you fall off the assembly line, getting back on it is pretty hard. At the end of the day, when you reach the end of the assembly line, you will be melted down. But if you fall off the assembly line onto the dirty ass floor, you're just gonna lie there rusting. Unless you try, find a way to get back on it. So it's, in a way, the assembly line is better than rusting on the floor, but it's also its own form of hell. And you they just toss you in the trash when you're done. I would say what I want, but why bother? I won't get it. Maybe a fraction of it. I'll admit it, I always pictured Chloe as someone better, so to speak. Not like better, but like I did over idealize her, even though at the beginning I knew, like, hey, she's too good for you. My emotions got the better of me. Like I thought she might be a little more interesting than the average chick at the time, and she wasn't. Clubbing, partying, drinking, all that crap. It's like, what? I don't know. I feel like a lot of women, they start out, when they're young, they're pretty interesting. They go paintballing or fishing a lot, or I don't know, ride dirt bikes. Then they get older and society comes in and just kind of domesticates them, and it's like, why are you so lame? It's like you don't do the things you used to. Like it's kind of boring. And honestly, I feel like modern life is kind of that. It's just kind of boring. Where's the adventure? Where's the hopping on a horse and chasing down a bison or something? Like only people like Neil, honestly, have that kind of adventurous drive, and that's only because he's grown up around that shit. Like this fucker literally jumped off his trampoline, smacked his head, and bit his own tongue off, like when he was like 5. He's kind of nuts. I don't know. Everybody just seems so dull to me. I'm not saying I'm interesting. I'm not. Just like, you guys have money and looks and, you know how to talk to people. It's like I thought you'd be doing more than, just being a stereotypical Visco girl or whatever. Or some, standard rich jock guy. Like, I don't know. Like, build something cool or whatever. I don't know. Like, yeah, build a fucking motorcycle or some shit. And yeah, I can't really get with people's topics, what they speak about. Everybody's all going off about cars and electrical and all the jobs they've done and this and that. It's like I don't care, but I have to for money. It's like how the fuck do these people just? How the hell do they just bury themselves so deep into work and into just you know being a being a being a submissive taxpayer, so to speak? It's like how do you do this? In a way, I want to do it too because I'm not doing it, and it sucks. Yes, I'll admit it, I want to conform. Because when you don't conform, your mind just torments the fuck out of you, like, you can't fit in. And you're definitely not financially rewarded for it, and money is fucking God here, so it's like, it's like you can't do ass. And then you try to talk with them, and then it's just like it drives you nuts, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why do you give a shit about these things? I'm just wasting time with this video. I have 2 labs to be preparing for, a quiz to be preparing for. The quiz shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. And what else do I have to do? Yeah, just honestly, just feels like we're all just products, especially me. You're being constantly judged for your performance, for your utility, and as soon as that falters, get out of here. We don't want you. It's like, wow, nice. Well, this video was pointless. I just wasted about 22, 23 minutes for us, or however long this damn thing will go on. But I guess I'm wasting time regardless. I'm working for a future that no longer exists. Toiling away for scraps. And I'm only going to be able to get those scraps in maybe 5, 6, 7 years. And it's like, why do I have to wait so long for so little? Will I even get anything by that time? You know? It's like you build a house for a decade and you love that house. It's a great house. And then a fire burns it down the day you finish it. You worked 10 years to create this glorious mansion, and then it burns down in like 8 hours. 10 years of work gone in 8 hours. You did it all for nothing. That's what it'll feel like. And all you're left with is like 3 logs. Like what? I gave away 10 years of my life that I can't get back. 10 years of my youth that I can't get back for this house. I poured everything into it, and it burns down in 8 hours, and I just have 3 fucking logs. What the hell? This is bullshit. And so in a way, I kind of do want a big, some kind of crisis to happen to show people like, hey, I understand working hard is important, but you're not going to be rewarded for this. Stop. Think about what you're doing, what you're allowing to happen. Do you really think if you continue on like this, we're going to get some kind of Star Trek utopia? Really? They are going to take more and more away. Slowly, so you won't notice. And then one day you'll be locked up in a cell and you'll be confused. And they'll put a chip in your kid's brain and turn them into a mindless robot. Is that what you want? Oh well. It's an exaggeration, of course, obviously, but you know what I mean. The time of progress, of understanding, of expansion, of innovation, of really doing anything is over. Now is the time of, letting the monopolies expand until they have a crushing majority and end up ruling almost every little aspect of your lives. And then the empire falls. The end. I don't know. Maybe it's just me coping or me being a pessimist. I just want to. Can I have some fucking autonomy for once to be able to make a few of my own choices and have some peace and quiet and maybe a loyal dog as one of the only reliable companions that a man can really have, especially in this day and age? Can I just have that? Just a little freedom, a little time to just chill and not have to worry about appeasing a million people, including Ones that I do not know. I don't want to fit in. I want to be left alone. Will you just let me have one small piece of the pie instead of a crumb? Why am I even asking these things? It's pointless. And it's 6:40, it's almost 7. Yeah, summer's coming. So what? So what? I'll just work all day and come home and then sweat in my room. Nothing ever happens, nothing ever changes, and no matter what I do, I end up with the leftovers. That's just what happens when you can't match up. I don't know. Men like us, I feel like we weren't meant to be happy. We just struggle and struggle and struggle, and then we die and roll over into a ditch. And, 50 years later, where our corpse, fell, it's just paved over with a sidewalk, and a family is walking over us, walking over our bones, and nobody cares. Although by then nobody will care about anybody who's alive now, because 50 years is a long time. But you know what I mean. There's no happy ending, just haha, get fucked, and here's a brief shot of joy every once in a while so you don't totally lose your mind, and then, well, it is time to go. Now you will have peace. Except you can't do anything, because you're dead. God is cruel, or he simply does not care. Man is no better. So there's just nothing. Maybe this period of time in my life will pass, but for now, this sucks. And I can't do shit about it. That's what gets me. Sure, it gets you too. Sure, it gets a lot of us. Enjoy your little slice of hell. I won't enjoy mine, but I mean, then again, I don't enjoy much anymore. And let's be honest, you won't enjoy your little slice of hell either. It's called hell for a reason. No one's going to watch this. Goodbye.